Hi, YouTube. Come and chill with me at Angel's Place. Do me a favor, like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Tonight, we have a story time. It's called She Stopped Hanging Out With Me. I also have a message. If there's anyone out there that is being abused, there is help. You can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and that number is 1-800 799 7233. So let's get started with this story. A couple of years back, I met a couple. We'll call her Kim and we'll call him Jeff. So Kim and Jeff were married and they had a small daughter, and we all would hang out and go to the clubs and drink and party and have fun. So eventually we moved in together. Once we moved in together, I noticed that Kim had become withdrawn. She stayed to herself. She was quiet. She only moved around to do the bare necessities. She didn't have a car, but she did have a job. And Jeff would take her to work and pick her up from work. And from there, she would come home and it would be the same routine in her room, quiet, and wouldn't come out the room. So I knew that there was something funny going on. I knew that she was being manipulated by Jeff. On the other hand, Jeff would go out to the clubs, hang with his friends. He would come home high and intoxicated. And a lot of the times when he came home, Kim and Jeff would get into arguments and end up fighting. So Jeff, when he would leave home, Kim and we formed a friendship, and we would talk and chill and watch movies together because she wasn't allowed to leave the house. And when Jeff, him being Jeff, when he came back home, she would go back into the room with him and wouldn't come out for the rest of the day or the rest of the night. Well, one particular night, I remember they were arguing, and I really don't remember what the argument was about, but I heard all the yelling and screaming inside of the room, and I was in my room, and I was like, wow, I wonder what's going on. So Kim started screaming and hollering and crying. So I was like, wow. So at this time, Kim was like 6 feet tall. She was 100 and something pounds. She was really thin. And Jeff, he was 6 feet something, and he was kind of really built and cocky. So I ran to their room door and I started banging on the door, and I was like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Is Kim okay? Is Kim okay? Stop. So they got quiet, but then they came into the living room. And once they got into the living room, they started arguing again. So Kim ran out of the house and Jeff ran behind her. He grabbed her by her clothes, he slung her to the ground, and he started punching her and kicking her. So at this time, I was just looking, and I was kind of afraid because Jeff was a lot bigger than me. So I knew that I wanted to help my friend, but I was unsure of what to do. I knew I couldn't physically fight him. So I ended up calling 911 and, called the police, let the police know what was going on, gave them the location, and I just stood and watched to make sure that they were in the same spot so I could let the police know where they were. So when the police pulled up, she didn't press charges. Everybody just looked back at the house because they knew that I had called the police. Well, they came back inside the house. They went into their room, and it was quiet for the rest of the night. So the next day, I noticed that Kim didn't come out of her room. I felt maybe that she was embarrassed, or he told her to stay inside the room and not come out. So days and days and weeks would go by. I wouldn't really see Kim. I would hear her leaving, going to work, and I would hear her when she would come back home from work. One day, Jeff wasn't home and she was in her room. So I went to her room and I knocked on the door and she answered. So I said, hey, can I have a talk with you? So we started talking and I was telling her that I didn't feel as though she deserved to be treated the way that she was being treated. She started crying and she started saying that she didn't have any family, that he was her family and that she loved him and this and that and everything else. So we started hugging. I comforted her and I said, okay, it's going to be okay, but I really think that you should go ahead and leave him. So we just hung out for the rest of the day until Jeff came back home. So when Jeff came back home, she was withdrawn inside the room. He was inside the room with her, and they just didn't come out. So a couple more weeks went by, and I noticed that they were packing up to move. So they ended up moving out of the house, and after that, I didn't really see Kim or Jeff anymore. But till this day, I hope that Kim is okay. I hope that she's doing well. I hope she knows that she had a true friend and I only wanted to help her. Well, that's my story time for the night, YouTube. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Good night.